The office was silent. Only the sound of a mop moving on the marble floor. Eli bent down and wiped a coffee stain near the door. His hands were rough. His shoes were torn. But his eyes were kind. The glass elevator opened. Mr. Kane walked out in a sharp blue suit. Gold watch. Shiny shoes. Cold eyes. He stopped when he saw Eli. Mr. Kane said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "So this is what we pay you for? To crawl like a dog on my floor." People at the reception looked up. Someone laughed softly. Eli's face turned red. He stood up slowly, holding the dirty mop. "Sir." "I'm sorry," Eli whispered. "The coffee." Mr. Kane cut him off. "Don't talk. Just clean. People like you are lucky to be inside this building at all." Eli's fingers shook on the mop handle. He stared at the floor so no one would see his eyes fill with tears. "If you were in his place, what would you do?" Eli reached the office early every day. He made tea. He cleaned tables. He carried files. He was the office boy. But at home, things were not easy. He lived in a small one-room house with his mother and little sister. His mother was sick. His sister, Mia, was only 10. Every night, Eli studied by a weak lamp after work. He wanted a better life. He wanted to take care of them. But in the office, he was invisible. One morning, Mr. Kane was waiting near the entrance. He was the company's rich and proud director. Everyone feared him. Everyone wanted his approval. "Eli," he shouted. Eli ran to him. "Yes, sir." "Where is the client file for Mr. Carter?" Mr. Kane's voice was sharp like a knife. Eli held the folder tightly. "Here, sir. I was bringing it to you." Mr. Kane snatched it from his hand. "You walk too slow. Even my shadow moves faster than you." The receptionist, Grace, looked away. She hated this, but she stayed silent. She needed her job too. Suddenly, the glass door opened. A tall man walked in with 2 assistants. It was Mr. Carter, the company's biggest client. He owned many businesses in the city. Grace whispered, "Good morning, Mr. Carter." He nodded and smiled kindly. Eli stepped back so he wouldn't be in the way. But his old shoe slipped on the wet spot he had just cleaned. His body tilted. The tray in his hand flew up. Cups crashed. Tea spilled all over the marble floor, and on Mr. Kane's expensive shoes. For a moment, time froze. Everyone stared. Eli gasped. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'll clean it." Mr. Kane's face turned red with anger. He kicked the broken cup aside. "In front of our biggest client?" he shouted. "You useless boy! Look at what you did." Eli knelt down and started wiping the floor with his bare hands. Hot tea burned his skin, but he stayed quiet. Mr. Kane raised his voice even more, showing off. "People like you belong on the street, not in my office." Eli's eyes filled with tears. He lowered his head, embarrassed, as staff watched in silence. Mr. Carter saw everything. He watched the way Eli's hands shook. He watched the way Mr. Kane smiled while insulting him. "Stand up," Mr. Kane ordered. Eli stood slowly. "You're fired," Mr. Kane said coldly. "Get out. Right now. I don't want to see your face again." Eli felt the world collapse inside him. "Please, sir," he whispered. "My mother is sick. I really need this job." Mr. Kane laughed once. "This is not my problem. Security, take him out." 2 guards walked toward Eli. Mr. Carter suddenly raised his hand. "Wait," he said calmly. Everyone turned to him. He looked at Mr. Kane. "Is this how you treat your staff?" he asked. Mr. Kane smiled nervously. Just a small discipline, Mr. Carter. He is clumsy. We cannot keep such trash in a company like this. Trash. The word hit Eli like a slap. Mr. Carter's face changed. He was not smiling anymore. Trash? He repeated softly. Interesting choice of word, Mr. Kane. He walked over to Eli. Son, do you work here full-time? He asked gently. Eli nodded, wiping his eyes. Yes, sir. I used to. I guess. Do you study? Mr. Carter asked. Yes, sir. At night. I want to finish my degree. Mr. Carter turned back to Mr. Kane. I think I've seen enough. Mr. Kane frowned. What do you mean, sir? Mr. Carter's voice was now cold. I do not work with people who treat the poor like animals. Everyone went silent. In fact, Mr. Carter continued, cancel today's meeting, and cancel all my contracts with this company. Mr. Kane's eyes widened. Mr. Carter, please. This is a misunderstanding. He's just an office boy. Mr. Carter looked him in the eye. That, just an office boy, has more respect than you today. He turned to Eli. Come with me, son. Eli froze. Me? He asked. Yes, Mr. Carter said. I want to talk to you. Eli looked at Mr. Kane, then at the door. Security stepped back, unsure what to do. Eli took a deep breath and followed Mr. Carter out of the building. Behind them, the glass doors closed. Inside, Mr. Kane's smile disappeared. He had just lost his biggest client, because of the boy he called trash. And this was only the beginning of his karma. If you were Eli, would you have walked out with Mr. Carter, or stayed and begged for your job? Outside the building, cars moved fast. The city was loud. But near the sidewalk, it felt strangely quiet. Mr. Carter led Eli to a bench under a tree. Sit, he said gently. Eli sat carefully, still holding the dirty handkerchief. He was scared, confused, hopeful, everything at the same time. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Carter said. Eli took a breath. My name is Eli. I'm 19. My father died when I was young. I work to support my mother and my sister. I study business at night. I'm not perfect, sir, but I try. His voice broke a little at the end. Mr. Carter watched him closely. What did you feel when he fired you like that? Eli looked at the ground. His hands clenched into fists. Small, he said quietly. Like I was nothing. Like my life had no value. A tear rolled down his cheek. He wiped it quickly, embarrassed. Mr. Carter's heart softened. I grew up poor too, he said. I cleaned tables in a small shop as a boy. Rich men spoke to me just like he spoke to you today. Eli looked up, surprised. You did, sir? Yes, Mr. Carter nodded. And I promised myself, if I ever became powerful, I would never treat anyone like that. He paused for a moment. Then he asked, Do you want to keep studying? Yes, sir. More than anything, Eli replied. Good, Mr. Carter said. I have a scholarship program. Good kids. Poor families. Hard workers. I think you fit that. Eli blinked. Scholarship, he whispered. You will study full-time, Mr. Carter explained. I'll cover your fees. You can work part-time at my office. Simple tasks. Fair pay. No humiliation. Eli's hands trembled. His eyes filled with tears again, but this time with hope. Why are you helping me? He asked. Mr. Carter smiled softly. Because someone helped me when I was in your place, he said. And because I just saw how strong you were in there. You didn't shout. You didn't insult back. You showed respect even when you were hurt. Eli lowered his head and cried quietly. Not from sadness. From relief. "Thank you, sir," he whispered. "I won't waste this chance. I promise." Mr. Carter placed a hand on his shoulder. "I know you won't." The atmosphere in Mr. Kane's office was heavy. Grace whispered to another assistant, "Did he really cancel all the contracts?" "Yes," the assistant replied. "I heard him on the phone. It's bad. Very bad." Mr. Kane paced back and forth. How could he walk out like that? Over an office boy? He shouted. He called Mr. Carter again and again. No answer. Within weeks, rumors spread. Other clients heard how he treated his staff. Slowly, deals started to end. Numbers fell. The company's name lost its shine. At home, Mr. Kane argued with his wife about money. He shouted at his teenage son, Daniel, for small things. He couldn't accept that he might be the problem. "It's the market," he said. "It's the economy. It's fake news." But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "Or maybe it's your pride." He ignored that voice. Eli's days changed completely. In the morning, he attended classes. He sat in clean classrooms, took notes, asked questions. He wasn't office boy anymore. He was Eli, the student. In the afternoon, he went to Mr. Carter's company. He worked as a junior assistant. The staff treated him kindly. Even managers said, "Please" and "Thank you." One day, he spilled coffee again. He froze, expecting to be shouted at. But his supervisor laughed and said, "It's okay, Eli. Just clean it up next time, all right?" No one called him trash. No one kicked his things. Every month, he visited his mother with some savings and good news. She smiled through tired eyes. "I knew God would open a door for you," she whispered. Mia hugged him and said, "One day, you'll be a big boss too, Eli." He smiled. "Maybe," he said. "But if I ever become a boss, I'll never forget this feeling." He remembered the cold marble floor, the hot tea on his skin, the laughter. That memory became his fuel. Time passed. Eli graduated at the top of his class. He learned fast. He worked hard at Mr. Carter's company. Mr. Carter noticed his honesty and calm nature. He gave him more responsibility. Soon, Eli was managing small projects, then bigger ones. Finally, Mr. Carter called him into his office. "Eli," he said, "I am opening a new branch in the city. I want someone I trust to run it. Someone who knows what it feels like at the bottom and can still lead from the top." Eli's heart pounded. "Sir, are you sure?" "I'm still young." "Age doesn't matter," Mr. Carter said. "Character matters. And you have that." He smiled. "I want you to be the director of the new branch." Eli sat in silence. His hands shook again, but this time with joy. "Thank you, sir," he whispered. "I won't disappoint you." That night, he stood outside the new glass building with his name on the doorplate. Eli Carter, branch director. Carter insisted he take his last name officially as a sign of family and trust. Eli touched the name plate gently. His eyes filled with tears. From office boy to director. He looked at the sky and whispered, "Thank you." But somewhere else in the same city, another man was not doing so well. Mr. Kane's company had almost collapsed. The big contracts were gone. Many staff had resigned. The building that once felt powerful now felt empty. Debt letters kept arriving. Banks kept calling. His fancy car had been taken back. His house was up for sale. One evening, he stared at himself in a small mirror. No more expensive suit. No more gold watch. just a tired man with dark circles under his eyes. "How did I end up like this?" he whispered. Then he remembered Eli, the boy on the floor, the tea, the word trash. For the first time, he felt real shame. "I lost my biggest client that day," he muttered, "because I couldn't control my pride." He opened his laptop and searched for jobs. Most companies rejected him. Some had heard stories about his temper. Others said he was overqualified for smaller roles. Finally, he saw a simple listing. Driver needed, full-time, for Senior Director, New Carter Branch. He stared at the screen. "A driver job," he murmured. "I was a director once." His first instinct was to close the page. But then he looked at the unpaid bills, at his wife sitting silently in the next room, at his son trying to study with worry in his eyes. He swallowed his pride. "Maybe I deserve this," he whispered. He clicked Apply. He had no idea who the senior director was. But soon he would find out. And that moment would change everything. Have you ever seen a proud person fall because of their own behavior? The morning sun shone on the new Carter Branch building. The glass walls reflected the city. A black company car waited near the entrance. The post for driver had been open for weeks. Today, they were finally interviewing someone. Inside, Eli sat at his modern desk. He wore a clean white shirt, a simple watch. No gold, no show-off. But his eyes were steady and confident. Grace, who now worked at his branch as a senior assistant, Mr. Carter had hired her later, knocked on his door. "Sir, the applicant for the driver position is here," she said. "Send him in," Eli replied. He was working on a file when the door opened. "Good morning, sir," a tired voice said. Eli looked up, and his heart stopped for a moment. It was him, Mr. Kane, but not the same man from 3 years ago. No sharp suit, no gold watch, just a worn-out blazer, a faded tie, lines of stress on his face. For a second, they just stared at each other. Recognition hit both of them at the same time. "You?" Mr. Kane whispered. His throat went dry. Eli kept his voice calm. "Please, have a seat," he said. Mr. Kane sat slowly. His hands shook. He glanced at the nameplate on the desk. Eli Carter, Branch Director. Eli Carter, the office boy, now director. Mr. Kane felt a stone drop in his stomach. Eli spoke first. "So, you are applying for the driver job?" he asked softly. "Yes," Mr. Kane replied, his voice low. I need work." His eyes didn't meet Eli's. For the first time, he could not look down on someone. He was the one who felt small now. Eli watched him quietly for a moment. Memories flashed in his mind, the broken cups, the hot tea, the word trash. His mother's tears when he came home jobless. He took a slow breath. "Why did your last job end?" Eli asked. Mr. Kane swallowed. "My company shut down," he said. "Clients left. Debts piled up." Eli leaned forward slightly. "Do you think you had any part in that?" he asked. Mr. Kane closed his eyes for a second. "Yes," he whispered. "I treated people badly. I was proud. I thought money made me better than others." His hands squeezed together. "I remember that day," he continued. "You were on the floor, cleaning. I humiliated you. In front of everyone. In front of Mr. Carter." His voice broke. "I lost my biggest contract because of that. I lost respect. And I think I lost myself." For the first time, Eli saw something he had never seen in this man before. Guilt. Real guilt. There was a long silence. Eli finally said, Do you remember what you called me? Mr. Kane's eyes filled with tears. Trash, he said. I called you trash. I'm so sorry. His voice shook. A tear rolled down his cheek. I don't expect you to forgive me, he added quickly. If you tell me to leave, I will. But please know, I regret it. Every day. My karma already came, Eli. I've lost almost everything. Eli looked at the window for a moment. The city moved outside. Cars, people, life. Inside, two men sat in silence. One who had once been powerful. One who had once been powerless. Eli turned back to him. You taught me something that day, Eli said. You taught me how it feels to be treated like nothing. I carried that pain for a long time. He took another breath. But Mr. Carter taught me something else. He taught me that when we rise, we can choose what kind of person we want to be. He paused. I could humiliate you now, he said honestly. I could shout. I could throw you out. I could call you trash. And maybe some people would say you deserve it. Mr. Kane's shoulders shook. He waited for the blow. But then, Eli continued softly, I would become you. And I don't want that. Mr. Kane slowly looked up, surprised. Eli's eyes were calm, but firm. I'm not trash, Eli said. And neither is any human being. Not even when they make mistakes. He leaned back. I will give you the job. Mr. Kane gasped. You will? He stuttered. Yes, Eli nodded. You will work as my driver. You will have a fair salary. Clear rules. No shouting. No humiliation. From my side. He held up a finger. But there are conditions. Mr. Kane nodded quickly. Anything, he said. First, Eli said, you will treat every guard, cleaner, receptionist, and office boy in this building with respect. You will say, please, and thank you. Always. Yes, Mr. Kane whispered. I promise. Second, Eli continued, you will never call anyone trash again. Not even in your thoughts. People are not trash. Pride is trash. Mr. Kane nodded again. I understand. And third, Eli said, you will remember every day that power can be taken away in a second. So use it gently, if you ever get it again. By now, tears were running openly down Mr. Kane's face. I will, he said. Eli, I'm sorry. Truly. Thank you for giving me more kindness than I ever gave you. Eli stood up. The uniform for drivers is with HR, he said. You start tomorrow. Mr. Kane also stood. For a moment, he hesitated. Then he slowly bent his head. Not as a boss. Not as a powerful man. But as someone who had finally learned humility. Thank you, sir, he said quietly. The word sir felt heavy leaving his mouth. But also right. Eli nodded. You can go now, he said gently. As Mr. Kane walked out, he passed the cleaning staff in the hallway. For the first time in his life, he stopped and said, Good morning. You're doing a good job. They looked at him, surprised. He smiled weakly and continued walking. Months later, a black car waited outside the building. Mr. Kane, now in a driver's uniform, stood by the door. He opened it as Eli walked out with a briefcase. Good morning, sir, Mr. Kane said with respect. Good morning, Eli replied. He noticed how Mr. Kane now greeted the security guard by name. How he smiled at the cleaners. How he carried himself with quiet humility. As the car moved through the city, Mr. Kane looked at Eli in the rearview mirror. Life is strange, he said softly. Once, you cleaned my floor. Now I drive your car. Eli smiled. Life doesn't change to punish us, he said. It changes to teach us. He looked out the window at people walking on the street. Some rich, some poor. All of us, he continued, are only one mistake away from falling, and one act of kindness away from rising. Never humiliate someone just because they are poor or weak. You may need their kindness tomorrow when your power is gone. Have you ever seen someone treat workers badly? If you were there, what would you do? Thinking.